Episode 22. This is the Inside Deschutes County podcast. It's available everywhere. You can subscribe on any podcast platform. You can also find us on deschutes.org/podcast.
Deschutes County is an amazing place to live,
work, and play.
Great place to raise a family.
I love the weather and the high desert.
At Deschutes County, we provide excellent service.
We're here to help you.
Deschutes County is the heart of Oregon.
Everyone wants to be here.
This is episode 22 of the Inside Deschutes County podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Eric Brion. We've got a quick update for you, a bonus episode, if you will. My guest today works at the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality. And I'm going to give the name my very best shot. Antony Vorobyov is here. Did I see that right?
That was perfect.
Stop it.
No, that was absolutely perfect.
You're kidding me.
Most people really butcher it, but
How long did you say it took your wife to get your name down?
she might be listening to this, so
You don't want to throw her under the bus.
certainly not now.
So, Antony, you're here from Department of Environmental Quality. Tell us what that is. What do you do for them? Because maybe not everybody knows.
Sure. So I'm a public affairs specialist for the Department of Environmental Quality. Specifically, I do public affairs, communication support for all of DEQ's initiatives and programs in the eastern region. So DEQ has divided Oregon into 3 regions. We have the Northwest, Western, and Eastern region. So I cover everything in the East.
You picked a cold region. We've got the snow still coming down.
Oh, but I like it.
You like the snow.
I've adapted to the cold.
You're fairly new to the area.
I am, yeah. So I moved here with my wife in July of 2022. But I only recently started working at the DEQ back in December. So I'm fairly new to the DEQ.
Fairly new.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why are you here? Because that sounds like a rude question, but most of what we do is we talk with county employees. You're not a county employee, but you're working kind of hand in hand a little bit with the county in regards to a certain program that affects groundwater in the South County. Will you talk to us a little bit about what's going on?
Sure. So like I said, I provide comms support for DEQ initiatives and programs in the Eastern region, and one of those programs is our Southern Deschutes County Groundwater Monitoring Study. And so to sum it up, DEQ is offering free well water testing in Southern Deschutes County as part of a groundwater quality study. Well users can volunteer to have DEQ collect water samples from their well, and they can receive a free water quality laboratory report.
Free.
Absolutely free.
Free. Free's good.
Free is great.
So you wanted to get us out, get this word out. You didn't want to just come hang with me and talk about the winter weather and all those kinds of things. But why is this important for people in South County? The groundwater, basically safety is what we're talking about.
Sure. So drinking contaminated well water can have serious effects on people's health, negative effects. The Oregon Health Authority recommends people test their well water quality for bacteria, for nitrate and arsenic to protect their health. And in this area, we know from previous sampling that high levels of nitrate are an issue for some wells. And drinking water that has high levels of nitrate can cause serious health effects, particularly for infants and pregnant women, and it can increase the risk of like blue baby syndrome, pregnancy complications, thyroid dysfunctions, stomach and bladder cancer, just a whole bunch of
That's a lot.
Not good stuff. And then possible sources of groundwater contamination generally include nearby failing septic systems, current or prior applications of fertilizers and pesticides, and leaking underground fuel tanks. But specifically to South Deschutes, really we're looking at septic systems and how older septic systems and failing septic systems impair groundwater.
And a lot of people have wells. I mean, there's a lot down there. I mean, everywhere. But I think it's, from my reading about this, there's a ton of wells across Oregon, and that's something to pay attention to, right? Because of all the potential issues that can happen with, because it's irrigation, it's your drinking water, it's all those things. Do you know kind of how many people this might affect in South County or might be able to qualify for this program?
So I'll answer the second question. If you live in South Deschutes County, so it's basically south of Bend, from the Deschutes River woods all the way down to the border with Klamath County, you can qualify for this free program. You can fill an application online, or you can give DEQ a call. And or email us, which I can provide. Can we provide like the contact info?
We'll do that.
Great, in the notes. And whatnot.
Yeah, we'll do that.
But if you are in South Deschutes, you do qualify for this program. You fill out an application, send it in, and then our lab specialist will essentially look at your geographic location, and they'll try to they'll see if testing your well is going to add to their study or not, because they don't want to take too many samples of too many wells in one specific location. They do have specific targets that they want to meet. That way they can identify trends if any trends do occur. But they also they want to get a wide enough area. As far as the first question goes, so DEQ selected South Deschutes County because existing groundwater data shows us that there are, in some cases, elevated nitrate levels in some of the water samples that we've collected. Specifically, there are shallow and vulnerable aquifers there. And then there's a lack of robust data in the basin over time. So DEQ last sampled the area in 2014, and we started sampling the area because of a 2007 study from the U.S. Geological Survey, which was done in cooperation with DEQ and Deschutes County, that showed the primary source of nitrate contamination in the area is specifically from septic systems.
So is this more about data, or is this more about, just kind of reminding people that they should do some routine testing, or both? I guess you guys are after some information, and then the benefit is to these residents who can find out if there's an issue, right?
Correct. As you've indicated, groundwater contamination certainly can cause a plethora of issues, especially for residents, for agriculture. And so part of this is us collecting data and doing our due diligence to see if that nitrate contamination that was identified in previous studies is growing. And if that is the case, what can we do as an agency, collaboratively with our other state agencies, collaboratively with the county? What can we do to prevent further contamination?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So what happens if you get this data and it's bad? And, what are kind of the next steps? Maybe you don't know. Maybe it's a question that's for another day. But I'm just curious if you get information about a certain area of the county and it's, the nitrates are high or the contamination's not where it should be. You don't want to scare people. That's not the point. But it's, I guess what steps does the DEQ do after that?
So when we collect samples, DEQ will mail individual water quality results to each well user between 6 months to a year of data testing, or of the date of testing. And then the results will also be used in a regional groundwater report. So we basically will provide study participants with information on proper well maintenance, the health effects of common contaminants, and also options for water treatment. And then as far as the well user, they may decide what, if any, actions to take in response to groundwater contamination in their well.
I gotcha. A lot of outreach and education here is part of this, I would imagine.
Certainly.
Gathering the data, obviously, for yourselves, but then get that information out as to what people can do. How are wells selected? What do people need to know in order to get the test? Are there certain prerequisites and types of wells? I don't know. I'm not a well expert, but Is there anything that people need to know for them to qualify for the free testing?
So, again, as far as qualification goes, as long as you live in South Deschutes County, and there is a general map, it spans from the Deschutes River Woods all the way down to the to Klamath County border, you do qualify for this free well testing. So DEQ determines areas of the state generally that are especially vulnerable to groundwater contamination, which is, again, why they're focusing on South Deschutes County relative to other areas of the county.
Yeah, because people in north part of the county might be like, hey, what about us? Can we get in on that? And you're saying it's because the information DEQ has about South Deschutes County, that's why we're kind of keeping it to that area.
Correct, yeah. So DEQ is working on a statewide project to monitor groundwater for contaminants of concern, which again include like nitrates, arsenic, bacteria, and pesticides. And the data information developed will ultimately be used to identify those long-term trends of groundwater quality, doing status of ambient groundwater quality reporting. If there are any emerging groundwater quality problems, then we can identify those earlier and then work with local communities to remedy those issues or find solutions early on. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, inform groundwater users of the potential risks for contamination and provide them with the resources that they need to keep themselves and their families safe.
It's all about safety, really.
At the end of the day, yes.
At the end
Always
of the
about
day, we just
safety.
want to keep everybody safe. So walk us through the process. So, hey, I've got a well on my property. I'm interested in the free test. What do they need to do?
So, you will essentially fill out an application, and you can submit it online on our landing page, which, again, I will provide that information at the end of this. You can also email that application over to a specified email, call us, and then once we receive the application, we will determine based on location if testing your well is going to contribute to our sample, or if we've already tested in that area, perhaps we can't expand our resources to do that. If you are selected for well testing, DEQ will come out to your property and they will test your well water prior to any filtration. And then, as I mentioned, 6 months to a year from there, they'll they'll send a water quality report to the well user. And that information will go into a public database so everyone can see what those water quality samples look like across the groundwater monitoring study. Of course, all PII or publicly identified or personally identified information will be not included, including like addresses and names, but it will be in a database. And then finally, roughly around basically like nearly a year from now, hopefully sometime sooner than that, a full water quality monitoring report will be published. And we've done this with 6 other basins in Oregon.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is this a part of a bigger effort across the state? I think you did touch on that briefly, but this is kind of a statewide effort, right? I mean, in terms of figuring out where the issues are.
Correct, yeah. And I do want to point out that groundwater contamination or issues with groundwater contamination are not just exclusive to Oregon. They do exist all across the United States. There are many states that are having to work through this issue and work with their communities to solve it. And this is a statewide project to monitor groundwater for contaminants of concern. In the past, DEQ has completed studies in 6 other basins, to include the Mid-Rogue Basin. That was in 2015. In 2016, we did the North Coast, Walla Walla Basin. And then 2017, we did Mid-Willamette. 2018 was Harney County. And then the previous one we did prior to this one was Klamath Basin.
So this has been going on a while.
It has.
Okay.
Yep.
So this coming to Deschutes County and doing it, this is all part of the bigger effort.
Certainly. Yep.
When does the testing start?
So the testing will start in spring of 2024. We're hoping to...
So soon.
Correct, yep.
Okay.
People do have, I should have mentioned this, people do have until March 10th to submit their applications, which is very, very soon.
Quickly.
Very, very quickly, yeah. So, and we only have a limited number of wells we still need to sample in order to reach our full sample size. But people have to submit by the 10th of March, and then we're hoping to start sampling at the beginning of April.
Well, important program. Lots of information for people to digest. We'll share the information as to where people can go in just a moment. But Antony, thank you for popping on the podcast, answering these important questions about this free offering for well water testing in South County. I'm going to mess up the name. I swear
You got it. You got it.
Antony Vorobyov. No, I
Perfect.
messed that up.
It was perfect.
No, it was not.
You stuck the landing.
No, stop it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right, here's where you can get the information on the DEQ program. It is on the DEQ's website. That's oregon.gov/DEQ. Go to the Water Quality tab at the top, and then go to the Groundwater Protection Program at the bottom of the page. For any questions, you can email them at groundwater.monitoring@deq.oregon.gov. You can also call them at 503-693-5735. That's 503-693-5735. Or you can just pop onto the Deschutes County or DEQ social media pages. We have the information for you as well. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our environmental health team. They also do free water sampling. You can visit the Deschutes County Environmental Health webpage at deschutes.org, or you can email them at privatewellsafety@deschutes.org. You can also call them at 541-317-3114. Remember to subscribe to the Inside Deschutes County podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. We hope you drop us a review, drop us a rating. We'd really appreciate it. But until next time, be safe out there.